locked in.
Look at what we have here, folks.
To the only show that matters.
The cream of the crop.
Duke Loves Rasslin.
And there is no one that does it better than
your host.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
The Duke.
And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Achoo! 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 Huh?
Yeah,
sick boy?
Gesundheit.
Yeah.
Gesundheit.
Look at a little sick boy, huh?
Yeah. At least you're sick in the head. That's the difference.
No,
I got a minor cold. You're mental.
You come over here with your little complaining, and somebody needs to feel sorry for you.
Oh, yeah.
Because you got a little cold.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, poor
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Yeah. What am I,
You
Vince
know?
McMahon? Whiny cry baby?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
No,
That's
don't
bad
worry
news.
about it.
That's bad news. Welcome back to Duke Loves Rasslin. I am the Duke. And yes, not only do I enjoy doing pro wrestling impersonations, but I'll impersonate a sick, crazy person like the Boston Bad Boy.
That's
I don't
just
care
not.
how he
You're
feels
supposed
about
to be like a nice. People think you're nice.
I
That's
am. I'm very
That's the
nice.
biggest scam ever pulled.
Is that
People
what it
think
is?
you're nice,
You
and
know-
then you're gonna kick someone who's down, someone who does so much for this
Oh,
show,
give me a break.
someone who puts the polish on it every week,
Yeah,
someone who
polish.
keeps the people coming back for more.
Yeah, right. You know what? I get so many messages about people telling me how much they can't stand you. It's amazing.
It's funny. They listen.
Yeah.
They can't stand me, but they keep listening and writing you letters. Yeah, that's how much they can't stand me.
Say, like,
you know
me.
what?
What do you
Listen.
want?
What do you want?
You know, what do you want from that? Folks, got a great show for you today. Big Vito. That's right. You remember him from the Baldies, the whole 9 yards, Skull Von Crush. He's going to join us a little later and tell us what he's been up to lately. We also have the top 5 stories in the world of professional wrestling, a.k.a. Run the Ropes. All that, plus more of your listener-submitted questions. Ask Duke. And, I'm going to find a way to get him in because the Boston Bad Boy, he's been holding back on those listener-submitted questions for far too long.
Yeah, well,
it's not going to happen anymore.
When we get some real
All
questions from real humans, then
Whatever.
You got more bots listening to you than Donald Trump.
Whatever, big shot. But before we get to any of that, Boston Bad Boy.
Duke, you know what? I'm just too under the weather today. I can't deal with you. I can't deal with sitting here. And you know what I'm going to do? Because we have such a what do they call it when you have a deep pitching rotation? They say you got a lot of, in baseball, you have a lot of people to back you up.
I know what I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you a crybaby.
What I'm going to call you?
No days off, pal.
What I'm going to tell you to do is say hello to my good friend and ally, Mr. Babomb. I have him on the line right now.
Oh my God.
What's up, Duke? You sucker.
Listen. First of all, please, when you address Duke, the Duke, please address me with some respect because I got something to say to you, Babomb. You've been tarnishing my name online lately, accusing me. Hold on, accusing me of ducking you, and quite frankly, I'm not happy about it. I think you need to let the world know that you recant every negative statement you've made about me in the past 6 months.
All right, Duke, let me start off. First, thank you for the introduction, Boston Bad Boy, and poor form on Duke for not saying where I'm from.
You're from hell, that's where you're from.
You might know me from, You Should Play This channel, an XBit streaming channel, where we hit our milestone of 113,000 subscribers last week.
Yeah, take that, Duke.
As DX says, fuck it. On top of all that, my friend, we say I don't tarnish your name. If I talked about you, if I thought about you, it would be tarnishing your name. Right now, what it is I nothing you, as usual.
Wow.
I'm not super concerned. Also, I caught your interview with Al Snow last night. Boston, is it me or do those guys need a room? What was up with
Yeah,
all
well,
that?
you know how Duke gets. He gets googly-eyed. You've seen him. You've seen him when he talks about wrestling. And I have to sit in the same room as we do this show and we talk to these people, and it does get uncomfortable.
This is ridiculous.
Watching him go through puberty right there.
All right. You're not going to sit here and disrespect the great Al Snow, okay?
No, he's disrespecting you.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
As a matter of fact, I wear the collar and elbow T-shirts during my live cast all the time.
See that?
I've got no problem with Al Snow.
I'm wearing the collar and elbow underpants right now, but I'm not even gonna. We're not even gonna go there.
This guy right here.
What are the collar and elbow doing in your underwear?
Well, we'll get to that later, Babomb.
Jesus. So listen, you've been shooting your mouth off, disrespecting the great Vince McMahon as well. And I'm going to tell you something,
Rightly
Babomb.
so.
I'm glad you're on right now because I'm going to tell you something right now. Okay? Yeah. This whole concept with you, what did you say? Something about you don't like the way that the WWE is utilizing the Hardys. I think you're out of your damn mind. And quite frankly, you need to apologize to the great Vince McMahon for ever even dreaming that you're going to tell him how to run his wrestling organization.
Duke, I mean, shut the hell up. Let me tell you, brother. This is the thing. We saw it when the Dudleys came in. They walked in strong, and I have a strange feeling that they would do the same thing with Edge and Christian. It's that three-pack group where they were the team extreme. They come in, they get the big pops. What was beautiful about the Hardys is they got the belts, but now what do you do with them when everybody they're fighting gets injured? And it's obvious that they're going to start to underutilize them because they don't know what to do with them.
Well, underutilizing is Vince's first move before trapping someone into an untenable contract and then slowly crushing their career. So maybe, like many others, they're on that trajectory. Something, again, Duke will defend with his last breath.
Well, you know what? Yeah, they're on that probably, and I know there's got to be plans for them once they settle their lawsuit to break Matt Hardy and have a Matt Hardy, Brother Nero concept match. I'm sure they're going to go for that again. And then I'm sure in the second year of their contract, they're going to be split, and one will be on SmackDown and one will be on Raw. Most likely Jeff on Raw. But it's just, you can tell already that one set of tag team championships they won was it for them. That's it.
Let me explain something to you here. Hold on a second, because you're all over the place right now. Okay, you're talking about the greatest pro wrestling organization in the history of the business. You're talking about the greatest mind in the history of pro wrestling and the great Vince McMahon. Okay.
I thought you said the greatest. I thought you were talking about ECW. Go ahead.
Give me a break. Don't be disrespectful. So for you to sit here, all right, you armchair quarterback, for you to sit here and think you're going to tell Vince McMahon what to do with the Hardys, the last time I checked, they were over. Okay? So what you need to do is smarten up, Babomb, all right, and stop trying to sit here and in front of the entire WWE universe, you're going to sit here and try to act like you know what's best for the Hardys, okay? They're back in the WWE. They're making a ton of money. Vince McMahon wins again.
Duke, Damien Sandow.
He's not a Hardy.
In the history of people being over and then being underutilized, where would you phrase that? Where would you put that?
Well,
he's not good enough?
Damien Sandow didn't grab the brass ring, so unfortunately he needs to. He hasn't even become the Global Force Wrestling Champion. Never mind WWE. Gee, this guy couldn't even make it in NXT at this point. Give me a break. That's a bad example, pal.
That guy, first off, he can make it in NXT any day of the week. Second, they buried him, like they did to the Dudleys, like they do to any nostalgic gimmick act. Like they're doing to the Hardys right now. They're over with the fans. But Vince, I think he's vengeful. I think he's upset that they went off. And
he's mental.
Yeah,
he's mental, all right.
You know what?
Wait, before Duke's going to get very upset and want to hang up on you, I want to switch to something very quickly that's more important than wrestling, and that is video games.
Oh, no.
And Babomb,
he doesn't know anything about video games.
I want to ask him something about video games, and that is, earlier this week, the AV Club put out this interesting article about the game GoldenEye, which happens to be probably my favorite video game because that's where my video game evolution stopped. I can't figure out any controller past GoldenEye, past N64. But it made a good point, which was...
figure out a Nintendo 64 controller, not any other controller.
Yeah, I don't know. I just that's where I peaked as far as being able to play a video game.
He's an idiot savant. That's what it is.
But my point is, would you agree that GoldenEye perfected the multiplayer for that era of video gaming?
No.
I'm not asking you, Duke. No. I'm asking Babomb, an expert. I'm asking an expert.
Next question. I answered the question. No.
Babomb?
No, I don't.
What would you say? What would you say did? I'm just curious.
Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike.
Oh, Good point.
Counter-Strike came out in 1995, and it was an add-on concept, a modification
Right.
to the Life engine.
Yep.
And Counter-Strike really, that's the one that really perfected what we see today. That's what Battlefield's traced itself after, what Call of Duty's based itself after. That's the one that really led the way. Now, don't get me wrong, 4x4 home multiplayer,
Yeah.
you can't get a better engine. You can't get a better way to run the 007.
Right.
But as far as what the modern-day multiplayer is concerned, you really, Counter-Strike was...
That's interesting. Because in this article, they didn't mention Counter-Strike, but they said that Halo was the spiritual successor as far as game control and multiplayer.
Well, because Halo, again, would be in that list of home split-screen multiplayer. But if you're saying modern-day multiplayer...
Which no one's really doing a split screen anymore.
No, it doesn't exist.
Right.
And if it does, it's
Mario Kart or something.
Yeah, it's a gimmick game. Yeah.
Right.
See that?
Now, this leads to my final question, which is, how badly would you beat Duke in any of those previously mentioned games we just talked about?
He couldn't.
How badly?
Yeah, how badly would you beat him? I mean, what do you think? Like, do numbers go that high?
Couldn't happen.
Duke is by far, now, I don't mean any disrespect. I've known for a long time what to say and what not to say around certain groups of people. I know it gets offensive, but I know the word enhancement talent gets thrown around quite a bit, and that's a respectful word to use.
All right, this is just going off the rails here. This guy.
The reality
every
of the
time.
situation is I can't use that word
Every time.
without saying the truth. Duke is just a jobber.
I'm sick of him. I am sick of him. You know.
Is to go out and get worked by everybody else.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm done. I'm done with this guy. You know something, Babomb? I challenge you to another match, okay?
Boy.
Because it's clear that the only thing that you respond to is when I kick your butt in video games, pal,
please.
and set you straight.
I don't think it's happened yet. I don't think it's happened yet.
He claims that he's ranked in video games and he's this big shot with his 8-bit gaming and whatever the hell. They've never seen the Duke, which is why they're following you, pal, okay? That's the deal.
Oh, I'm sorry. What? Sorry, dude, I'm so asleep here. I was sitting here enjoying. I don't even know. I think I was looking at pictures of naked women on my computer. And what were you saying again? You put out a challenge. You challenged the gaming god, my friend.
Yeah. He did. It was sad. It was sad and scary.
Give me a break.
The real question I have, though, Babomb, is how can everyone get in touch with you, all your various platforms, and come to the mastery that is Babomb?
Well, our streaming station is XBit Gaming on Facebook. And if you're into watching the old school game stream, we do a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday stream. We take Thursday off. Friday, Saturday stream. Unless I have to kick some random podcast this jock's ass. Anytime you want to see a specific game be streamed, just contact me, message me, put it in the comment sections. I always see it. And then as far as our entertainment stuff goes, like top 10 videos and stuff like that, it's under You Should Play This. And you can check that out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff.
Babomb, thank you very much for joining us today. I'm going to keep you on speed dial.
Don't ever come back.
Duke, you better watch.
Don't ever come back.
Duke, you better watch.
Don't ever come back. I'm sick of this guy.
Duke, you better watch.
That's right, Duke. You better watch.
Watch what?
It.
You know what?
Yeah. You know what? You're the one that walked right into that.
Run the ropes.
Not this again, please.
No.
Not this again.
It is time to run the ropes. It's where I educate the Boston bad boy on the top 5 stories in the world of professional wrestling that this slacker has been missing out on.
Slacker. I call it having a life, and I'm not going to sit through 87 hours of wrestling here to figure it out. I think I got it in like the 10 minutes I look over anything for this show.
No, you don't. You don't have it. So now
what could possibly
ring the
be
bell.
compelling? What could possibly be compelling enough?
Ring the bell. Now, first of all, Carrie Sane, okay? She's officially cleared by the WWE doctors.
What was her issue?
How awesome is that?
What was her issue?
All right. Well, she had a concussion.
Oh, funny. That's so rare in this business.
Don't be disrespectful.
Well, I'm just saying they do have a history of not really caring about that kind of thing, but I guess she's cleared now. So
well, what's most important is that she's been cleared. Now, keep in mind, Carrie Sane, she was Kerry Hojo in Japan. She's a huge, big-time wrestler there, and the fact that she's been cleared to come back she's going to tear up the women's division in the WWE.
Well, they
Okay.
need some action there, don't they?
They sure do. So I'm trying to educate you on the top wrestlers in the world, especially the females.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm letting you know. And Kerry's saying she's your new favorite female wrestler.
Really?
That's it. It's done.
What's her gimmick?
She has the most amazing elbow drop you'll ever see.
But the,
She puts
the
her
move is
whole,
the gimmick?
from the top rope. She puts her whole elbow. Well, she's a pirate.
Oh, okay.
Her gimmick is that she's a pirate.
pirate.
Yeah. But,
Not like a pirate that's landlocked, like that guy we talked to before.
oh my God,
Not the guy
Captain
from-
Stevens.
yeah,
Leave
not
him
the-
alone.
not the
I
guy
like
from-
Captain
not
Stevens.
the guy from Colorado.
He won his return match, by the way.
Did he?
He did.
Well, I guess there was no place to go but up for him anyway.
Don't ever disrespect Captain Stevens again. Seriously.
I'd like to see someone give you a flying elbow from the
Whatever.
top
And
rope.
shout out to the Potato Pirates. I like them. Remember that group? Great
Yes,
group. That's right.
Flash in the pan.
So listen, I know you've been worried about this.
Oh, yeah.
So I got the scoop,
Okay.
and this is not good news.
Is it ever?
Scott Dawson and Bayley are
Okay.
both injured, and they're not going to make it to SummerSlam.
What is all this trend of injuries to top line folks
Well,
here? What is going on?
Here's my speculation.
Why does the WWE push these people too far?
Well, no, everyone gets injured because it's a full contact exhibition.
Yeah, but
okay?
this is top tier folks.
Don't
here.
be
and this is a lot of it going on.
Well-
you got injuries, you got drug people are suspended for that. What the hell's going on here?
Well, there's a shoulder deal with the both of these two, you know, and Dawson and Bayley. I think they're overtraining.
Pushing it too hard.
I think they're getting in the gym, and for whatever reason, they're just doing too much.
Yeah, where does that come from though? I think it's a bad company mentality is what I think it
The
is.
company's not telling them to go out there
Are
and
you
lift
kidding
too
me?
much
No,
weights.
but there's an
What are you, foolish?
expectation that it's
That's
like,
ridiculous.
Listen to me. It's like this current White House we have, right? Everybody, it's like a dog eat dog, right?
No.
There's no support from the top down, so these people feel like they have to, somehow compete with each other just to maintain their living.
Yeah, but you don't break your arm because of it, or
Listen,
your shoulder or whatever.
listen. If you're not getting any support from the people who are running the show here that say, "Listen, everyone's good. This is how it's going to run," you're going to go out there and do what you can try and
whatever.
do. They need some support and some guidance, and obviously Vince McMahon and company.
I wish the
are out
best
to lunch about this.
to my man Scott Dawson. That's my homeboy there, and
Really?
Bayley.
You guys hang
I
out?
hope Bayley comes back and she becomes a heel, because that would be great. I'm sick of her babyface gimmick. I'm sick of it. Okay, I hope she comes back and she tells the fans to go to hell, because I'll tune in for that.
Could she start with telling you to go to hell?
No, what is wrong with you?
This is like sitting through summer school here.
No, pay
Just
attention. Just pay attention. 'Cause this is big news.
Get
here.
on with it.
The WWE officially launches in China.
All right.
Can you imagine how much more money they're going to make now?
Unbelievable.
Okay, because there's nothing going on in China that's as big as the WWE.
Well, it's funny. So now that WWE is on this massively digital platform in general, right?
Sure.
Everything's going that way.
Sure.
Probably eventually to move all of the content digital. They'll bypass cable eventually.
100%.
Pay-per-view and all that.
100%. We're getting there.
You put yourself in a position for pirating.
So what?
Well, here's the thing. In China, we know that is such a content-hungry place. Mm-hmm. There's so many people. Pirating of Hollywood movies and everything is huge.
So what?
Can they make the money they would have made had it been the old school stuff? I almost think they'd make more money had they gone there back in the cable days or satellite TV days. They might have made more money because the content was better protected.
Well, it's not that they didn't go there before. They couldn't go there before. The way the government is
Nixon
structured.
went to China.
Whatever.
That was a long time ago. Vince McMahon couldn't do that?
The problem with getting content to China is, first of all, it's not like everyone's asleep when we're watching stuff.
Sure.
So there's that.
Like, I'm asleep during this show.
They're way behind as far as Raw and what have you.
Well,
what's
'cause
happening
there's a lot of
in real
censorship
time.
going on.
Yeah, well, all that stuff too. But what's most important is, it doesn't matter if you have the pirating or what have you. Even if they make $1 more than they made before, it's profitable. Doesn't matter.
See, that's where you and Vince, it's all about money.
Yeah.
It's disgusting because this is people are interested in this. They
We're
are
capitalists.
This is that's
disgusting.
fine.
Sit
That's
down.
fine.
Sit
But
down.
there needs to be a limitation on when the capitalism outweighs the sound thinking and business management, and also the sound creative of an art form that's been around for quite a long time.
Why are you talking right now?
I'm talking because I just want to get this over with, and I'm hoping you'll just dump this whole segment.
Fat chance.
Yeah.
So you know that I'm always talking about Sienna.
Yes.
Who's over, whatever they call themselves. TNA, Impact, Global Force Wrestling, whatever they call themselves.
Alphabet soup.
Alphabet soup. And look, I'm a Sienna fan. I really like Sienna. I've been putting her over for over a year now. She knows.
She still hasn't returned any of your calls.
I know. She still has made it clear that if
You
anyone
can't come within
sees me,
25 feet.
arrest this man, whatever. But she really lost her damn mind this week.
Really?
Completely.
I missed this.
And what's funny is that Lavelle Porter, the well-respected Lavelle Porter from WrestleZone.
Another person who really likes me
Lavelle's out
and
of his
likes to
mind,
come
too.
out on this show and put you in your place.
That's why I banned him forever coming back.
No,
but
no such thing.
Lavelle Porter was in the middle of this mess, stirring the pot. So Sienna tweets out a photo of herself, a couple photos of herself. One where she's wearing a boa with feathers,
Cool.
and another where she has her pinky up.
Sure.
And these are her gimmicks,
Okay.
especially the pinkies up.
Fancy,
thing. Yeah,
fancy,
this is her
fancy,
thing. She's been
dancy
doing
stuff.
this her entire career. So she puts next to it a photo of Charlotte from the WWE, Charlotte Flair.
I did see this photograph.
Which is impressive, right? So Charlotte's in feathers, and Charlotte is doing the pinky thing, which is more recent for Charlotte
Sure.
with the pinky. And she says something to the effect of, you borrowed one thing from me, now you're borrowing more. Like, she's pissed at her, basically.
Stealing a gimmick.
She's claiming that she's stealing a gift.
Listen, if a feather boa from a party and you have a stood up pinky is a gimmick, then the entire British nation would be a wrestling gimmick.
I know. Give me
because
a
that's
break.
what they do.
Ric Flair. So, of course, Charlotte tweets out a photo of Ric Flair in the feathers.
Of course,
From like the 70s.
Right.
Give me a break, right?
it's not new. Liberace was doing it.
So Lavelle Porter, the
reputable,
pot stirrer he is,
the stand-up guy that he
the pot
is.
stirrer he is, he ats Sienna and says, "Ooh, we got a response from Charlotte." So then Sienna says, "If you're going to respond to me, sis, make sure you tag me."
So he's running messenger for these folks.
Yeah, and here's what we got to understand. First of all, Charlotte is not a joke.
Sure.
She's tough.
All right.
Okay, that's Ric Flair's daughter. She's tough.
Well, this is why you were in love with her.
But Sienna's nuts. Because Sienna, she has MMA experience, and I think she's undefeated in MMA. She got her nose broken in a match and still won. Like, she's really, really crazy and not one to play
This
with.
explains why you're attracted to her.
Yes, because
you're also crazy.
I'm afraid of her.
Well.
So here's my thing. Sienna, please, stop starting trouble, because I'm going to tell you right now, you start beating on Charlotte, that's not going to be fun.
What are you going to do about it?
Okay? What?
What are you going to do about it?
Cry. I will cry.
That's right. Like Vince McMahon cries.
Stop it.
When anything doesn't go his way.
Stop it. And the number one story in the world of professional wrestling that the Boston Bad Boys should know about is...
Yeah, I'm sure it's going
Because
to be great.
I'm here to educate you, my friend.
Enough already.
Vince McMahon is upset with Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh, well, what a surprise.
That's the word coming out of sites like SportsIllustrated.com and Bleacher Report. Allegedly, Boston Bad Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Vince is a little pissed off that Shinsuke dropped Cena on his head.
Allegedly. I think there's an actual quote, isn't there?
Well, allegedly. Now, look. Look, I'm not going to go there.
Allegedly.
I wasn't there. Look, I love Shinsuke, but
Yeah.
he's just got to be a little careful in
I
the
think
ring
you're completely
and
out of your
don't
mind.
drop people on their head, especially with that suplex. It's an unnecessary move.
All
to be
right,
honest,
listen,
but,
you're getting off the track. Let me tell you something.
all right, that's it.
I'm going to tell you,
know
what's
what?
going on.
We're done. You've heard what I think. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you think I'm a jerk? Maybe something in between? Head over to Facebook.
Yeah,
Head
you're
over
a
to
jerk.
Twitter.
You
Type
cut me
in
off here.
Duke Loves Rasslin and let me know. I cut you
What
off because you
kind
know
of-
what you're talking.
what kind of
If I'm
learning
educating-
environment?
If I'm educating you,
This
you
is
don't
not
talk.
a helpful learning
You
environment.
don't talk when I'm educating. You listen. That's the point. Okay.
That sounds like dictating.
Oh, well,
That sounds like someone who
class
doesn't
is in
want to.
session. Class is in session. Folks, up
You're
next.
going to have some class to teach some class, brother.
Give me a break. Up next, we have him, Big Vito.
This is Scoot Andrews, the Black Nature Boy, and you're listening to Duke Loves Rasslin.
It's the Pavarotti of hard shots to the body. That fly Italian guy from SI. He's an ECW original, a two-time tag team champion from WCW, a two-time hardcore champion from WCW, a member of the NYC and TNA, the toughest man to ever wear a dress from the FBI and the WWE, the one, the only, Vito the Skull LoGrasso from Staten Island, New York, superstar and rent-a-car, movie star, and who in the hell is The Rock? How's everybody in TV land doing? And it's not TV, it's radio. I got you guys on that one.
Wow. Look at
That
that.
we're on a roll here with some
I'm
great
telling you.
promos from these guys we've been
When
talking
you
about.
get a pro, you get a pro.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Big Vito, how the hell are you, brother?
I am doing fine. Thank you guys very much for having me on the show tonight. I hope everybody is listening. I hope everybody's in for a good special segment. It was something great to be on another podcast last night with a friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours, Rudy Gonzalez.
Oh.
You know, I'm also doing my own podcast, Getting Color with Vince Russo on Podcast One. Got my YouTube up at the Big Vito brand. I have my own Twitter account at the Big Vito brand. So let's brand it out, guys. Let's spread the word on your brand. What's the name of your show, and what are we talking about tonight?
Listen, well, this is Duke Loves Rasslin, as you know, and you said it right there. Rudy Boy Gonzalez, I was talking to him, and he said, you know what, Duke, there's a guy that you got to get on your show because he's a stand-up guy, and I'm telling you, man, you got to get him. I was like, who's that? He said, Big Vito. I said, are you kidding me? I remember Big Vito going all the way back to Skull Von Crush. You were kicking butt and taking names in Japan, brother.
I was doing all my good stuff, but, people don't remember Skull Von Crush. He was a young phenom, a kid in the WWF back in 1991, a bare rookie, just coming out of the unpredictable Johnny Rod School of Professional Wrestling. Wrestled some of the best in the business as a young rookie, a green guy. Had Bret Hart, the Boss Man, the British Bulldog. I had High Energy, Owen Hart, and Coco Beware. I had Typhoon. I had the Legion of Doom. I had The Undertaker, the Big Boss Man, all the guys who were good to me, all the guys who always taught me, and that's the way you should learn in the business, starting from the very bottom, working your way up through the ranks to the top, and when you start from the bottom on the flat of your back, you go to the top, you're on the flat of your back, and the way you go out, you're on the flat of your back.
What do you think about guys who make a big deal about losing matches? I mean, there's a lot of guys who really take that personally there. Everybody has to do the job at some point there, right?
Well, I mean, a lot of guys get into the wins and losses, and a lot of guys forget the work rate, and if you could be that guy who can make somebody look great and make somebody look like a champion, even when they're not that very good, then you know you're a quality worker and you've accomplished some great things in the business by learning, observing, learning your craft, paying your dues, learning from the pros. A lot of guys don't do that today. Everybody thinks it's a different era now, and everybody just wants to sell merchandise. Everybody wants to be on top. Everybody wants to be the number one guy. But the way you become the number one guy is if you're the number one worker, because everybody wants to work with you.
So I got to say, Vito, you're talking here, at least to me, a fellow Paisan. My great-grandfather was also Vito, came over from the old country. What is your story getting into wrestling? What is your story, from where you grew up and you getting into wanting to do this for a living?
Originally, I was a phenomenal basketball player. I had Division I scholarships. So when the coaches came to me, they said, all right, you good? We'd like to talk to you. How's your grades? I said, yeah, coach, they're good. They're good. I had a 65.5 average. I was a jock. I wasn't a school guy. I wound up going to community college. I really didn't dig it too much, because it was community college, and I kind of got derailed because it wasn't Division I like I wanted. I wanted to come back to Staten Island, and then they had, I started playing football. I would have had to give a lot of time, but then I started out wrestling at, Johnny Rod's school. So I got a great training from the WWF in my rookie year. I also did the WCW TV, which probably not too many people remember, but I wrestled with Bobby Eaton. He hit me with the Alabama Jam. Paul Heyman was my announcer, which was pretty cool for a guy, a guy just getting out of wrestling school, and they all liked me. I met Luger, Steiners. I mean, they were all there. Hey, kid, you look pretty good. They announced me as Skull Von Crush on TV, and I was in Baltimore, Maryland. So, I mean, I took off from there. I went to All-Star Promotions in Puerto Rico. From All-Star, I went to NOW for Kendo Nagasaki in Japan.
That's right.
And I wrestled for the first time over there. So my first 2 years, I accomplished, 4 great things: WCW, WWF, Puerto Rico, and Japan.
That's highly unusual there, by the way, Vito. That's highly unusual.
From there, I went to go wrestle for a gentleman named Jack Veneno in the Dominican Republic, and Jack Veneno and Ric Flair exchanged the NWA heavyweight title there, which not too many people know that.
Not recognized, right?
It's not recognized. It's recognized as a victory, but it's not publicized because Flair did the favor for Veneno, and then Veneno never repaid the favor coming back to the States. So it was like, okay, Yeah, but you know how that goes. It's just business. But when I went there, I was there to avenge the loss of Ric Flair. I beat everybody in the company until I got to Jack Veneno, right? And we had the big blow-off was the week before where I attacked him, and the place became unglued, and there was like a riot, and I was fighting through everybody to get at him, and he was like, he was just he was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed. The company was overwhelmed, because they never seen a reaction like that. And then when we get to the final match, and we did a couple false finishes, I suggested to him, I said, let's do a couple false finishes where you get me, everybody thinks you win, but I said I'd kick out. And then I did that like twice, and the people went nuts. And then once he beat me, all the people in the stands surrounded the ring. There was no police or security. So this is my first time ever experiencing this. So I says, man, I'm either going to get out of here or I'm going to get killed. So the guys from the dressing room were standing there waiting for me to make a move. So the first thing I said was, man, okay, here's the first chair I'm throwing. So I threw a chair, and I marched without flinching straight to the dressing room. Right, the guys covered me as I went in the dressing room. They held the door shut because the fans started to kick the door in.
Wow,
that's how wild. I had to go home
heat. That's heat right there.
Yeah, but I went home in a tank.
Jesus.
No lie.
Now, Vito, I got to ask you something. Duke calls me Boston Bad Boy in reference to Tony Rumble. Did you ever go wrestle around here in Boston at like ICW or anything like that?
Yeah, I wrestled with the Savaldis.
Yes.
I went there a few times. I know Tony Rumble. That's when Taz and Tommy Dreamer and Mondo Clean, Bill DeMott, and I was part of that school.
Let me ask you a question, because you're talking about in the very beginning, you were a guy that was doing enhancement work, and everyone trusted you because you were trained properly by the legend, the Hall of Famer Johnny Rodz. Let's transition now, because you're a guy who has gotten over so much with your gimmicks, even going to the Skull Von Crush. You talked about how huge you were you were causing riots and what have you there. But you became Vito and you did the whole thing. Talk to us about the importance of working a gimmick, because what we see today, a lot of guys really don't understand that concept of the business there, and you really are a person who did it so well with so many different gimmicks.
Well, I lived the gimmick because that's the way I was taught. You have a gimmick, you believe in your gimmick, you do your gimmick. I never tanned. I worked out. If everybody remembers Skull Von Crush, I wore the army jacket.
Yep.
With the insignias. I had the leather jacket. I had the striped pants, the German boots. I didn't speak English at all, like when I was out in the crowd. I was always playing my heel role. It led to me going to the first Memphis Memory show, where you finally learned about all the great gimmicks that came through. Anybody who knows Austin Idol is the original Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
Yep. If anybody remembers a guy named Stagger Lee, Stagger Lee was Coco Beware.
Yep.
Jimmy Hart was from Memphis. And that's where I really defined myself as the German. And from the German, I went to Malaysia to wrestle in a Johnny Rodz tour, and I wrestled Sergeant Slaughter. I wrestled Snooker. I wrestled the Bushwhackers. So you're talking, I wrestled all the main guys in the business by 95. After that, I went to All Japan Pro Wrestling, and that's where I was talking about the greatness of where I came from, because here I was trying to prove myself in the business, getting a regular job. I'm in All Japan Pro Wrestling. There's a guy standing across the ring from me wearing green trunks. I don't know who he is. He's laughing at me. And I was like, listen here, man. I figured I'm Vito LoGrasso. Ain't nobody laughing at me. I'll kick your ass. So when I went in the middle, and it's a best pinning combination in those battle royals. I went in the middle, and Baba pushed this guy in front of me. I attacked him, dropped him, hooked him, legit, and pinned him.
Oh wow!
Later on, I'm in the semi-main event, tagging with Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and Gary Albright, and I go toe to toe with Kabashi until he chops me in the throat, and we're going blow for blow. And I backed up, and Dr. Death yells out, "Don't back down!" And I hit this kid I hit him with everything I had with a forearm smash. You seen chiclets fly. We finished our spot. He nods to me from across the ring. I nod back. I earn my respect.
And folks,
So
just to put it in perspective here, Kobashi is one of the top 5 wrestlers in the history of Japan. I mean, like literally, Kobashi, they could erect statues for this guy. That's how huge of a legend he is over there.
But the guy I pinned was a Triple Crown winner who hadn't been pinned in 5 years, and his name was Mizawa.
Oh,
boy. My first
Jesus,
day,
you pinned
I made
Mizawa.
a hell of a yeah.
I mean, is
I made a hell of an impression.
Is stiff the way it's worked in Japan? Is you start there, like that's the par for the course, working that way?
You got to know how to wrestle. You're talking the 80s when there was no entertainment value. You went there, you did hard-hitting wrestling. Your finish was 10 minutes long. And like you were hustling. But you got to understand something. Trying to get a job, right, in the 90s when there's no territories. I already worked Puerto Rico territory. I worked the Memphis territory. I was trying to work the Japan territory. I was trying to, make it in the business. So when I came back, I was at a crossroads, and I said, I just went to Japan. I just did this. I just did that. I did all this stuff. I'm still hanging out. And I said, finally, I'm going to ECW. I go to the Elks Lodge. Now I walk in there and everybody just looks at me like, okay, what do you want? You know what I mean? So I talked to my boy Taz because we broke in together at Johnny Rods's, and I said to him, I said, listen, I like a chance to work here. So he went to talk to Paul Lee, and he pulls me back. He says, Vito, we know you can wrestle. It's just your attitude. And I had a cocky attitude because I could beat you, I could back it up, and everybody knew it. So I was kind of like. I was kind of tough. I was kind of notorious for that. And, I was already established myself as a worker, but I didn't realize that I had to eat humble pie and become humble in the business. So the guys who were already at ECW, a lot of them I'd wrestled and, went through the mill with. So I earned my job and, went through the thing. My first match, I said, okay, Vito, come back next week. So my first time at the ECW arena, I'm wrestling Danny Doring, Blue Meanie, and Supernova. And I said, okay. I said, Vito, I don't want you to do anything. I said, so I went to the guys. I said, listen, guys, everybody dropped their finish on me. I said, let's get it over with. I said, let's do it. So everybody dropped their finish on me, just coming back from Japan. And they said, is everything okay, Vito? I said, yep, everything's good. Okay, come back next week.
Wow.
So
just to make sure, they took your temperature that time. Let's take a guy who's over, who's been on TV and all these big promotions, what have you. Let's put him in the middle of the ring, and let's not even take our top guys. We'll take some of our guys like a Danny Doring who's still making his bones in the business. They're all going to drop their finish on Skull Von Crush in the middle of the ring just to take his temperature to see if he's going to have a bad attitude when he comes back into the locker room.
Well, that's exactly it, fellas. And like they said, okay, come back. And then when I went to wrestle again, I don't remember like the next few matches, but I know I put guys over. When I first got my first chance to be on TV at ECW, it says, Paul goes to them and says, you think Vito can hang with RVD? He says, hey man, I says, we got our money on Vito. Can RVD hang with Vito? So if anybody remembers that first match, I went after RVD on the mat.
Yep.
And I went to mat wrestle him, and I was amped, and people were like, where'd you learn how to mat wrestle? I could always mat wrestle. That's how I never just showcased it. When I was in Japan, I mat wrestled. I went to Johnny's, I mat wrestled. You learn how to be a shooter. I gave RBD a run for the money. I put him over. So I used to go with Paul Lee. I says, after almost a year, I said, Paul, I says, when do you think you could do something with me, and like something different? And that's when we became the Baldies.
That's right.
And then the Baldies were a very, very great group. I had good wingmen, and, it was a good group. And we got over, and we wrestled some great matches with Balls, New Jack, and Axel, all my boys. And, and then that's when I got the call to go to WCW, and I didn't want to leave. And I told Paul, I said, Paul, I got an offer from WCW. I said, but I want to stay here. I said, I don't want to go. He says, Vito, he says, you've been wrestling for a long time. He says, this is your chance. He says, you got to go. You got my blessing to go. He says, you earned it. You put in your years. Vince Russo had called me, said he had a job for me. I had a contract with J.J. Dillon. And then before I knew it, I was in WCW.
Put it in perspective. You went to WCW and you became a WCW Tag Team Champion at least twice, right?
Vinny told me about his idea, and he said, I got a kid for you. His name is Johnny the Ball. He's just fresh out of the power plant. We have another guy, Tony. He's out of the power plant. And I says, I could do it. I says, let me run the controls, and we'll be fine. And when we got on TV, we were over because of the vignettes and introductions we got.
Yeah.
When we established our characters, and then we started to wrestle, and we were a very good tag team. And I always made sure Johnny was never exposed, and he did what he could do the best. He was a freak of nature. He had a great body. He had athleticism that you couldn't beat. He was ahead of his time, and he had all that talent. And it just was, not to say right place at the wrong time. It was the wrong time, but the right place, because he was just a freak in power and body and good looking. And me and Johnny are still boys today.
I can remember when you were in WCW, man. I would just laugh my ass off because you just found ways. You would do a move, and then you would do something, and it was just like, look at this guy. I mean, it was hilarious. So
my karate. Karate after my mafia kick.
Yeah, exactly right. You're bringing me back there. So wait a second. How the heck do we get a guy who's kicking everybody's butt in Japan and working on top and what have you and doing that? You go to ECW and you get over there. Now you go to WCW. They put the Tag Team Championship on you and everything twice.
Now you get over, and now they're going to put a dress on you.
Guys, I heard a lot of different things after all the years. And, I would work hard. It was me and Nunzio. My matches were good. I was tough. I was a nice-looking guy. I wore the suits. I wanted to make it. I wanted just a chance to shine. So some people used to tell me it's a rib. Some people told me, if break him, make him crumble. But they came in, Stephanie and Vince came and asked me. I says, okay. He says, you'd be okay with it? I says, yeah. I says, I've been through a lot in my life. There's nothing nobody could ever do to me that hasn't been done already. So if you're going to shoot me, I already seen a gun. If you're going to try and stab me, I've seen a knife. If you're going to try and beat me up, I've been in plenty of fights. What are you going to do?
And the joke was on them because you were more over at that point than ever,
literally.
Well, that's where the thing came in. As I wore the dress to TV. Everybody was laughed, but here I walked in. I go on TV. I go do my thing, and everybody was like, "Wait a second." They just said, "Wait a second." Week after week, I went out, and I became more popular. And then the first time I smiled on TV, the people were behind me.
That was it, yeah.
And I became a fan favorite. I went undefeated for 4 months. And then, when you make it in the business and you get a little bit too big because they really didn't expect you to get over that much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, remember when I was supposed to fight Booker T because he was King Booker?
Yes.
And I had my undefeated streak.
Yes.
And they put The Undertaker in my place.
Typical.
Well, no, there's politics 101, fellas.
That's right.
So wait, Vito, let me ask you, what's a lesson that you can tell? Because we get a lot of indie guys who we have on the show, ton of indie people who listen to the show. What's some advice that you can give? Because if they just follow the trajectory of your career, you kept getting work, and you kept getting work in the top places in the business because you were a guy who would train properly, and because you were a guy who, you found a way to work with everybody and at least gain their respect and earn their respect, really. What sort of advice can you give to the young guys starting off who maybe they've hit a fork in the road and they're still trying to figure out if this is right for them?
First thing I can tell you is take care of your body and protect yourself. Okay, that's first. Second, or maybe it's 1A, get a college education because you always need something to fall back on because not everybody makes it in the wrestling business. Have a plan B. Because if you don't make it as a wrestler, what do you do? Especially if you have a family, a wife, kids, and there's no territories to go work, so you're really working for nothing on the independents because they're not going to pay you that much. Try to get, if you're training, try to train with guys who made it in the business. If you're training with guys who are indie guys who are in the same position and never made it to the business, how do you know what they're telling you is the gospel and the road to get to where you want to go?
And it's funny that you say that because everyone from Tommy Wildfire Rich to Rudy Boy Gonzalez and everyone in between, they've all said the same thing that you're saying there. Mr. No Name such and such with the wrestling school, he's probably just taking your money from you. Find somebody reputable who has a track record, who's been to the dance, because they're the ones who can actually give you the proper advice to get there. Vito, how's your wife doing?
She's doing a little better. She's not feeling too good today. You know, for those who don't know, I mean, I took my own sabbatical. My wife, she took ill. She had a stroke, and she had a brain virus. First, the stroke. Second, and then she already was, handicapped a little bit because she hurt her back. And it's been 3 years of doing this, and the stroke just kind of blew us away. It blew me away because I almost lost her, and I've been really concentrating on getting her on her feet, and she's feeling better to where now I can come back into the wrestling business, and I don't have to think twice about doing anything. And sometimes, guys, wrestling is not everything, and life, in life, you think wrestling is your whole world, but then you find out that it's not. And then when you make the deal with the devil and you say, okay, give me it, and then when you get it, and then you realize, wow, I made that deal, I got everything, but I think I shortchanged myself.
All right, I got to ask you one last thing before we let you go. Sunday dinner, is it sauce or gravy?
Listen, it's sauce. If my wife cooks, it's gravy.
That's an ongoing debate up here, at least in this part. My grandmother always called it gravy. There's always I needed to get another valid Italian's opinion here, so I feel like I'm keeping tabs.
Well, it's like the old saying. You say manigot. The Irish say manicotti.
That's right. There's no gabagol. You know what I mean?
There's no gabagol, right? And then when you say scuttle, and then the Irish go, "Did you guys get the escarole?" I'm like, Jesus, come on. My slogan has been for years: you want the truth, or you want me to lie to you? And 9 times out of 10, when I tell you the truth, you'd rather me lie to you because you don't like what I have to say. And that's the difference between the wrestlers today and the wrestlers in my time. Because if a veteran told you something, you took it, you booked it, you learned it, and you remembered it. Today, when young guys get that advice, they say, who the hell are you? You were nobody, you never drew a dime. I know, I never drew a dime, but you're only here for a cup of coffee, but you didn't even earn the cup yet.
Oh, let me tell you something. Vito is still as sharp as ever before, man. He's something else.
Well, he was ready to lay down the law about gabagol here.
I know,
you can't.
I'm not going to tell him he's wrong. Please, you kidding me?
Speaking of gabagol, I'm
Speaking
starving.
of gabagol, folks, head over to Barnyard Cheese. That's right, Barnyard Cheese over in New York City. They have all the meats and cheeses. They have the delicious sandwiches. Mm-hmm. You can get yourself a gingeroo drink, the whole 9 yards.
I think the Boston Bad Boy sandwich, I'm changing the recipe. I think it's just going to be 2 pieces of bread with all the gabagol you can fit on there.
Yeah, that'll never happen.
No, it'll be delicious. It'll just be the purest form of the sandwich.
They have a Vito sandwich there. Maybe it's after Big Vito.
I don't know.
See?
I'll have to
ask
find
him
out
about that. Seriously. Stop depriving yourself of deliciousness. Head over to barnyardcheese.com for more info. Enjoy.
See, you can do it to a concert and just don't care, but one thing I do care about is Duke's wrestling. And I tell you what, the guy has nothing but love for the business.
All right, Boston Bad Boy. I know you're a little under the weather there, which means...
Well, no. Don't try and help
me.
Don't try and help me.
We can finally use some of our fantastic listener-supported voicemails, because the voicemail box is full right now.
Well, you know what? I got sick of trying to read the handwriting of our listeners. These people it's like chicken scratch, first of all. Don't you people know how to type?
Give me.
So from now on, all questions must be submitted in voice format.
Good.
Send them in. I don't care where you send them. Duke has some place to send them. I don't care. I don't care where you send them.
Folks, you can send it to the Duke Loves Rasslin at gmail.com.
Yeah, send him that. Send him, subscriptions to online magazines. He loves that. Anything you want to get your hands on. And now the thing is, though, you won't do me the favor and transcribe these questions so I even know what the hell's happening here before we get to these questions. So now we're going to listen to them.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I'm going to just, instead of tearing them up on paper like I usually do when they're horrible, I'm just going to have to call people out. And it's going to be more fun because I'll get to make fun of if they have funny voices.
Don't be rude to my listeners.
Maybe they have silly names.
Don't be rude to my listeners.
I'm sure this will make it a lot more fun for me, at least. I don't know about you. Probably not for you. So here we go. Question number 1. Mystery question number 1. I don't like this. I need transcriptions from here on
me
out,
a
okay?
break.
So just you're on notice,
Just go
buddy.
with the question.
Kevin Allen here, and I'm from Coldwater. Why do you think NXT is doing much better than the main roster?
All right, first of all, where the hell is Coldwater? Is that Nebraska?
Could be anywhere. Parts unknown.
No, the point of identifying yourself, my friend, who I haven't written him in front of me.
Kevin Allen. He said his name was Kevin Allen.
Kevin Allen.
Yeah, I like Kevin Allen. He sounds like a real sharp guy.
I gotta say, Kevin Allen. Let us know where you're from, okay? And this is a learning curve. So from here on out, state your name, what town you're from, and what state you're from, what country you're from. Maybe you're from another country.
Yeah,
maybe, and I'm guessing a lot of your fans, maybe you're from another planet.
Oh, God. Don't talk about Kevin Allen like that.
All right, here's Kevin's question again, okay? Just so we can reset here. Here's Kevin's question again.
Kevin Allen here, and I'm from Coldwater.
Yeah, wake up, Kevin.
Why do you think NXT is doing much better than the main roster?
Well, first of all, that's a subjective opinion there. Although
it's a question. Why is NXT doing better than the main roster? Answer his question.
I don't know what measure he's using to say that NXT is doing better than the main roster. I will say at times NXT was a better and more entertaining show to watch than the main roster shows, SmackDown and Raw.
No, that's not hard to do.
Right now, I don't feel that way at all, Kevin. In fact, I feel this is one of the weakest NXT rosters we've had in years. Just really, really weak stuff there. And I'm very disappointed. I'm disappointed in the takeover that's coming up. The women's match is really the only match I feel like seeing. If they put the title on Sienna and they have him and Black battle for the title, that would be fantastic. But the only thing that's carrying NXT right now is the women, and that's just the reality of it. Shout out to Asuka and Ember Moon and the crew there.
I hope this next question is totally non sequitur because I totally zoned out with your answer. I didn't find it compelling at all. But let's hopefully this next question.
So rude.
I can always hope that it's going to get better.
What's going on, Duke? This is the Big Bear. My question for today is, which superstar out of any era and any promotion do you feel deserved a title shot but never got one? Appreciate you.
Well, first of all, we've had your friend Big Bear on this show
First
before.
of all, Big Bear, come on, buddy. You got to identify yourself. There's rules. There's a system here. If we don't have rules, the whole system breaks down.
You should have
So
never...
next time, Big Bear and all his compadres and everybody else, location and city, state, where you're from. And if you want to drop in, bank accounts or anything, I could always use a little payoff here. And if you throw a little something extra for me, I'll make sure you move to the front of the line. I'll just put it to you that way.
First of all, Big Bear is one of your guys. I don't even know why. I don't even want to answer his question.
I'm educating my people.
I don't even want to answer his question. How about that?
But you know what? You're such a wrestling nerd. You do want to answer that question. You can't help it. Who was the guy that deserved a shot that didn't get it?
It's not even a guy.
Ooh.
Okay. Manami Toyota. She should have gotten a shot at the WWF or WWE Women's Championship. And the fact that she's never gotten, even to this day, it would be great to see Toyota take on somebody like Sasha Banks. Can you imagine?
I would prefer an answer to that question with someone I've heard of. Could you try it again with someone who's
she's
very...
literally one of the top 3 wrestlers in the history of the business.
Yeah, I know, but someone I've heard of.
Whatever.
Let's try it again.
No,
Could you adjust
Toyota, my favorite, Toyota.
I know he said any promotion.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I answered the question.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
he
probably didn't even see that one coming.
No, because no one knows what you're talking about. We're talking about a big name.
I know what I'm talking about.
But this show isn't about you and what you were talking about.
My name is
It's
the
about
show.
entertaining
Of course
people.
it's about me. Give me a break.
This happens to be about me. So we're going to move on to the next question.
Yeah, please.
Question number 3 here. Let's see if this is any better. Come on. I'm going to roll the dice.
This is Kayla from Carrollton, Georgia.
Lady.
My question is simple. Do you think there's any redemption for Paige whatsoever should she have a successful return?
Well, okay, first of all...
That's not a simple question at all.
First of all, I'm going to analyze this. She sounds like she's at the RMV.
Well, she identified who she is, where she's from.
I agree, but it was almost like a police...
City and state.
It was like a police lineup. She was very stiff.
Well, hey,
she was very like business-like. Does she know who she's talking to? We don't run this like a business. We don't even run this like a real show. Have some fun with it, people. Loosen up. Listen, Duke is the nerd, okay? Duke is the uptight one on this show, in real life and in his fandom. So you need to understand that you got to have a little fun with it.
Are you done?
No, I'm not done.
Insulting
because
everybody.
I'm the one that brings a little dose of reality to the show so that people can actually enjoy it and listen to it. Otherwise, it's just you pontificating.
First of all,
I forgot the question. Let's go back.
This is Kayla from Carrollton, Georgia. My question is simple. Do you think there's any redemption for Paige whatsoever should she have a successful return?
No.
Now, this is something we've talked about quite a bit.
No, answer is no.
There's no redemption.
There's no redemption. Not in the WWE. It's not happening.
So people who commit crime, hypothetically.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk about someone other than Paige. Let's talk about a hypothetical person who commits a hypothetical crime, pays their debt to society to it. They should never work again?
That has nothing to do with my answer to the question.
Well,
so
because you said,
let me answer
one
the
word.
question.
Answer it then. Answer it. You said 2 words. Answer it.
I did. No, I said no, not in the WWE.
Continue.
Now, here's my point. It's not just that she's committed a crime. I wasn't even thinking about the crime. I was thinking about the fact that she's failed the wellness policy twice. I was thinking about the fact that she has completely broken the rules other times in addition to that, where they've given her a lot more rope. She's always late. They've even shown that on Total Divas. There's just a lot. The things that she said about the company online and what have you. I think that what's best for both the company and for Paige is for a clean split.
Could she do it, though?
Could she do what?
I mean, could she come back? Functionally, from a business standpoint, could she come back?
I just, honestly, the way that the last year and a half has gone, I just don't think it's healthy.
Well, it's interesting.
You know?
So, if this all plays out in that way, someone convicted of a crime, they don't have a future in the business.
Who says the business? So that's the problem. You can't say the business.
You're the one that's always talking about the WWE is the business.
Well, her family owns a wrestling promotion. Alberto, who looks like they're going to stay together,
boy,
he's involved in various promotions.
With him.
She just needs to go somewhere else and rebuild her brand and who she is. And
if she can do that, good luck. Because there have been plenty of people who were not found guilty that could never go back to what they were doing.
Very true. Very true.
O.J. Simpson could never be a sportscaster.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Never say never. Never know.
But I mean, from then to now,
sure.
Regardless of other troubles, he wasn't. No one was knocking on his door to be a Sunday, Sunday game an analyst or announcer. He had done it before. No one was knocking on his door for more sequels to Naked Gun movies.
I know that's a good point.
So listen, maybe it is a long road to hoe for her if this is how it all plays out.
But I put it in the context of it's probably not what's best for her to continue to be in that environment.
Listen, this is someone who's, I think, totally self-destructive.
So maybe she needs to go back to England with her family, and where they have their own promotion.
I think
she could build that up.
I think business is the least of her problems, I guess is what I'm getting.
Sure.
So I think any kind of thing on her own time should be figured out.
Kayla, in the WWE, I really don't see it, and I hope it doesn't happen, to be honest with you, because it'd probably be the best thing to happen to her to just be separate from the WWE. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's like, once you're there, though, you can't go back. Right? You can't. Once you're at the top of the pyramid, you're not going to go work and do the street hustle again.
Sure you could. You create your own pyramid.
You could, but it's not. She's not a brand that you could build a whole thing on.
I think you could. She could literally train the next generation,
but not with what the history now is. With an injury, maybe.
She's got to get focused. I mean, there's no two ways about it. Yeah, it's true.
You know, it's funny. Speaking of focus and stuff, the guy that runs your most fabled and loved promotion is really starting to slip. He really is.
He's never slipped.
He's really starting to go off the rails. And I don't have the energy. I've got this cold. I don't have the energy to get. I'm just going to tell you like it is. Okay?
Here we go.
I'm going to lay it down.
Oh, my Buddha.
I'm going to lay it down, and that's it. And I'm not the. Listen, this isn't even coming from me directly. I have people backing me up. I have a Hall of Famer backing me up.
Oh, really?
This time on the fact that Vince is starting to lose it. So you saw what happened with Shinsuke Nakamura and John Cena.
Show, and I told you I don't want to talk about it any further. I don't know why you're bringing it up.
No, but you saw what happened.
Oh, I told you I don't want to talk about it any further. That's enough of that.
Well,
we're done with it.
What really happened is John Cena got dropped on his head accidentally by Shinsuke Nakamura, okay?
How many times do I talk about this?
That match was 2 weeks ago. And what's the general consensus among fans and people in the business about all this?
Well,
you tell me, Mr. Expert. I'm answering all these listener-submitted questions. You tell me.
It's a 50-50 split. I mean, a lot of people feel that it was an honest mistake and what have you, but the reality situation is Shinsuke's got to be a little bit more careful with what he's doing in the ring, which I told you before. And I like Shinsuke. I'm a fan of Shinsuke, but
this time,
John Cena.
He crossed the picket. This time he crossed the line.
He's got to be careful with what he's doing. He's got to be.
Why?
Because it's John Cena.
Oh, because it's John Cena.
Sure.
Really?
You have to protect your MVP. Why not?
You know why not? Because it's ridiculous.
Okay.
Because these guys work for a living. Because it's all part of the show.
Give me a break.
And you know who agrees with me?
Who?
None other than a guy you may have heard of.
Who?
A guy named Billy Graham. Ring a bell? You ever hear of him? You ever looked at the Hall of Fame roster?
Don't bring up the Superstar stuff.
Well, the Superstar, he shared some thoughts yesterday on his Facebook page, and I thought this was absolutely hilarious. Because, as we all know, your best friend, Vince McMahon, the bromance you have is disgusting. Vince McMahon was furious about what happened.
Rightfully so.
He went on the record saying he was upset, it was sloppy, whatever, and you can't be dropping John Cena, my golden ticket, on his head, essentially is what he was saying.
Sure.
Which is stupid. And I'll tell you why it's stupid after you hear about this. In case you missed it, here's the quote from Billy Graham. Quote, "Hey fans, I just read a few hours ago that a story came out today in Sports Illustrated concerning the fury of one Vince McMahon. It seems he is furious with the Japanese star Nakamura for dropping Cena on his head in their match last week. Vince said he, quote, is not so much mad at Shinsuke, but that Cena has been the face of the company for a full decade now. Not for long, Vince Madman McMahon," says Billy Graham. "Cena is on his way to La La Land. I saw Stan Hansen give Bruno the elbow in MSG when he broke Bruno's neck. Vince Sr. didn't cry like a baby. He just let Bruno get his neck fixed and keep on wrestling. Vince is living in Disneyland if he thinks Cena is still the face of WWE. Grow up, Vince." He goes on to say, "Hey fans, I'm still working on my painting. We'll get it up for you in a few days. Catch you later. Superstar Billy Graham. P.S. God, Vince is such a crybaby with 3 exclamation points." End quote.
Why?
Now that, my friend, is a takedown.
Why?
Now that I wish I had audio of, because I would end every show with that audio.
Why?
If I could put out a request to the universe, would it please be that Billy Graham reads his own tweet, and so I can get that audio and end every show? Why? Because it's so obvious that Vince is backed into a corner creatively. All of his hopes and dreams, his finances are pinned on John Cena, who is just dog-eared by now. It's time for the guy to go. It's time for the industry to move on from John Cena.
Don't take a real-life situation where superstar Billy Graham, and I hate to use this word, but to a degree, he's an antagonist of Vince McMahon, and you're trying to keep it going by even bringing it up. Don't even bring it up.
He inspired Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
Big Papa Pump. Countless others. This is a guy who knows what he's talking about,
Don't
unlike
even bring it up.
I think it's fair to say he's been in the business longer than you, who has never been in the business, and that he knows what he's talking about. That Vince is a little bitch about all this stuff, and he's starting to put stuff out in the press and open his mouth too much because he doesn't. He can't see beyond John Cena, and guess what? The world is already seeing beyond John Cena. That time is over.
No. Listen, I superstar Billy Graham, you know I appreciate you. You know
Don't try and kiss his ass now. Look, don't try and kiss his ass now.
And Billy is more than welcome to come on the Duke Loves Rasslin show, and we can have a conversation.
I certainly hope he does.
But what I will say is this, okay? Vince McMahon is the guy that literally is supporting the entire wrestling business. He has it on his shoulders,
Who?
okay?
Cena?
Vince McMahon.
Oh,
Vince
please.
McMahon. And if John Cena...
Only because he wants it that way. Only because he's a villain.
Excuse me. And if John Cena is his quarterback,
get out of here.
If he's the head guy.
Yeah,
okay?
You know what? It's called not putting all your eggs in one basket.
No. You protect the top guy. You don't drop him on his head.
Stupid.
Okay?
Stupid.
You don't make moves like that.
Getting dropped on your head's part of the business.
No.
Okay?
No, that's the worst part of the business. You can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs.
Shinsuke Nakamura has been doing that suplex for years and never had any issues.
Well, he messed up this time.
He's done on Baron Corbin. Have you seen the size of Samoa Joe?
Great. But he messed up this time.
No, he can do it safely. He knows what he's doing.
No.
And you know what?
No.
He apparently it was a little too stiff for little John Cena. So Vince McMahon is going to quiet his little buddy. No, you're not going to quiet me down.
No, thank you to Babomb.
He's a raving lunatic.
Didn't appreciate Babomb being on the show today.
Thank you for coming on, Babomb. You're welcome here anytime.
We don't like Babomb, but thank you to Big Vito.
Yeah.
Folks, head over to Facebook, head over to Twitter, type in Duke Loves Rasslin. Let me know that you're sick of the Boston bad boy, because I sure am.
You know, you need
to.
I'm going to drop you on your head, but I'm going to do Vince McMahon first. I'm going to drop him on his head.
Give you the Big Vito
I got to tell you
slam,
something.
because I'm sick of you.
Stick together. Did you ever hear that?